ever seen in my entire life. It was just plain bizarre. The channel, Far From Eden, the title of the video, "A Man Is Not Your Slave." I can't even tell. I was driving my car here, listening to this podcast, and I was like, oh my God, there was one thing after another. I just couldn't stop laughing. Remember, the title of the video is "A Man Is Not Your Slave." And I almost fell out of my car when they're talking about a married woman, right? A married woman who wants something from the man that she's married to. And she says, I had to sacrifice my body in order to get financial resources that he didn't want to give me because he didn't have. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Sacrificing your body. You got married. You knew how broke Johnny Sixpack was. And suddenly, Susie Rottencrotch I had to sacrifice my body to get my husband to do something. Oh my God. This is how I feel when women think that feet pictures are a currency. I had women who would say that to me. You want feet pictures? You gotta pay. You don't get feet pictures for free. And I'm like, wait a minute. When did feet suddenly become monopoly money? Oh, I had to sacrifice my body in order to get $100 because he wanted to see my feet. And I remember the last girl that told me that. And I was like, how do I pay? By the toe? Do I make payments? Is there a blue light special that I can get feet pictures? And she's just like, no, I'm not going to sacrifice my body for free. Sacrifice your body? You're taking pictures of your feet. How is that sacrificing your body? I don't get this. Oh my gosh, another talking point from The Manipulated Man is the book, in which they talk about you need to train your husband with a carrot or with a stick. Now, I don't know exactly where we're going with the carrot or the stick for the manipulated man, but I'm assuming that both the carrot and the stick go somewhere that doesn't smell very good. Because as I watch more and more of my sinful behavior of going to the hub, more and more women believe that a man, I can't believe I'm going to say this, a man's body, her choice. A man's body, her choice. And I remember in my Walmart days, and this is, remember, when I talk on this channel, the stories are based on true stories, right? The names and locations have been changed to protect the guilty. Someone said that in the comment section. I love it because people ask me all the time, is this real? It's based on real stories, but I can't use real names or locations or else it won't be good for me. All right. Let's see. If the woman has a carrot, then I think they got hoodwigged. Someone cooked you so hard. Oh my gosh, watching this video, it had me cracking up so hard. And the way she says it with all this seriousness about the manipulated man, I mean, women have a tendency to want things that men, they have to go to work in order to get. And there's certain type of man that women want. The more money he makes, the better man you are, right? Sup, where's the feet? Right here. Should I just... Is this what you guys want? Like, oh, the free feet? Is this all I am to you guys now? I'm the feet channel now. There are no benches at this park, so I can't really sit down, and it's hard to carry. Oh my god. Coping laughter. I need... will someone please ban this guy? Going for a prole walk. Shoot. Let's see. Naughty little prole. You should get into foot modeling. Foot modeling. How do you become a foot model? Oh, Lord. I'm too educated to become a foot model. Look at the size of this damn tree. Holy moly. That's a biggin'. Oh, my God. Someone nailed that guy. Thanks, Desi, for swatting that fly. Someone needed to swat him. I don't have enough mods. I need more mods. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's see. So, if you guys get a chance, I know I mentioned this this video already. Far from Eden, the video is a manipulated man. And I'm still trying to understand how, once you get married, how exactly is it manipulation, or is it him taking advantage of you when you want financial resources? I've often wondered this with women throughout my entire life. I've met a lot of married women who are very, very unhappy with the amount of sacrifice their man's willing to make. Before I watched this, I saw one of the angriest videos. You guys think my videos are angry? This guy's like a 50-some-year-old guy, and he's talking about how America takes advantage of single men, that the world's built for families. And there was a lot of his talking points, and I am going to make a video on this video because he has a lot of valid talking points. America is a place where single men are discriminated against in the workplace, in housing, in entrance into clubs where women get in for free and men have to pay ridiculous charges. Every part of being a single man is being a person that is undesirable. Hey, Donald Trump. So, and I have to admit, like, when was the last time you saw a house that was built for a single man? Like, I've never been in one. In fact, most of the housing that I've lived in my entire life were pathetic other single men renting a room because they can't afford overpriced apartments. That's really what it comes down to, is the world is built around family values. And as a single, unmarried, undesirable, ungrateful man, I definitely feel it in the workplace. When they're looking for people to promote, and this is a quote from him, they're looking for stability. Single men don't emit stable lifestyles because they're not married. And so I don't know why this tree smells so weird. Look at this. I don't know does anyone know what kind of tree this is? I never noticed this before, but this tree has little furry wieners sticking out of it everywhere. It has a very strange smell. I don't know what's going on here. Let's see. Our dear new Vice President wants to make it a situation even worse for single men. How do you make the world worse for single men? I don't understand that. As a single man, you're looked down upon in every aspect of society, unless you're a wealthy single man. Every other single man is like, well, where's your family? Why haven't you started saving for retirement? Why aren't you going on vacation? Why aren't you doing all the things that married men do? Because we live in a country that you need at least two $100,000 a year jobs while sharing resources. That's the kind of country we live in. They're not building housing for single men. I mean, my apartment, and he talks about this in his video, the housing available to single men is absolutely overpriced and abominably poor. Like, my house is disgusting. The people who live there are gross. And every time I see two people living in an apartment the size of my apartment with kids and pets, I wonder, well, how do they make this happen? I mean, how do you do this? And it reminds me of being a kid and going on vacation with your parents. Rent a room because you're on vacation, right? They rent a room. It's got 2 double beds, and yet you have to make everyone fit in there. I mean, I grew up with 5 brothers and sisters, right? Or there's 5 of us total. And so when we would go on vacation, we'd have to stay in those rooms. There was absolutely zero privacy. You could smell the feet and the farts of every family member you had. And I think it was on purpose. Farts and feet, people. Farts and feet. Let's see, Korea has one of the highest rates. Yeah, I can understand that. Like, and I talk about this in almost all my videos. If you're a single man, what do you have to look forward to? Look at where I am. Is there anyone here? This is an Amazon facility. Obviously, it's not a warehouse. Now, every time people think of Amazon, it's like, oh, is that an Amazon warehouse? No, it's an Amazon business building. So I saw back behind me at this bench, they had a group of Amazon workers, and they had a huge sign out in front of this little structure here, Asians for Amazon. And I walked up to the little Asian girl that was sitting there, and then some Asian guy walks up to her and he says, you shouldn't be talking to non-Asians. I'm like, oh my God. It was a hilarious moment that I wish I'd caught on tape. Hey, Oliver, keep going, MS. You're making the world a better place. Hey, Oliver, I hope you had a great Christmas in the UK. I mentioned you in my video yesterday as my only long-term subscriber. Oliver has been with me for 15 years. Oliver remembers the days in which I broadcast Call of Duty. He's an OG. Oh my God. We're already here. I believe it. I think we're all working on it. It's a lot easier to do when you have a Cheeto for president. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Amazon is definitely the biggest plantation in America. Look at this place. It is Saturday and all the slaves are here. Look at them. All of them are here. Look at all the crappy cars too. You think at an Amazon place that the workers would be doing a lot better than, look at this. There's one expensive car in this parking lot. This is a pro parking lot. I'm sure it's a call center or some crap like that. Dude. Remember, this is a comedy channel. I may talk about all these crazy things, but the manipulated man, oh my gosh, the way she said, you must train your man with the carrot or the stick. In my mind, when she said that on her channel, I imagined an attachment for a certain kind of belt that would have either a rubber carrot or a stick on it. That's how you train your man to give you the financial resources that you feel like you deserve. And when he won't give them to you, you have to say something to the effect of, I sacrificed myself. Isn't that what you do when you get married? It's like, well, I want a loveless marriage with no physical contact. Let's see. Does that mean you just want a roommate who's going to give you a big house to live in and you don't have to sacrifice your body because you feel like you're saving yourself for Jesus even after you got married? Oh my goodness gracious. MS is king of the pros. He'll take over us. Hits his big stick. That's why don't you believe in yourself and hire a lawyer? MillennialSteam is indeed king of all the pros. Say I believe my pro self. We should give you our bosses the carrot or the stick or both at the same time. Hey, if she can take the stick and the carrot at the same time, so can you. Luckily, she has two places for the stick and the carrot. Us men, we got to put the stick and the carrot in the same place. Unfortunately, it usually needs a band-aid after they're done manipulating you. Because that carrot, I tell you, it doesn't want to go in that pipe. You're going to have to force the carrot in there, but you got to train your man somehow. And telling him that you want a new car isn't sufficient. You got to make sure he understands that it's not optional. In fact, the general manager of the Walmart that I used to work at years ago, he ran into this problem with this mail order bride, right? Brought her to America, and suddenly she didn't realize that marrying a fat man who was obviously not a high value man, right? Because if you have to order a mail order bride, what you've already said is you've given up on the traditional system. So suddenly he realizes that even his mail order bride is going to want things. And in his own mind, it's like, why would I need to provide things? I already brought her to the first world. Shouldn't that be enough? No, it was not. Damn, I had Fleece Johnson so much. I hate Fleece Johnson so much. Oh, Fleece is familiar with the carrot and the stick as well. You guys should go watch that video. And that angry man, oh my gosh, his attitude, like when he was talking about his friends asking him to be an usher at their wedding and he had to say no. I didn't know what to think. Like the tone of his voice of having to say no. Just because I'm single doesn't mean I have to be an usher at all of my friends' weddings. And the way he talked about having to go out to meet the one, right? This is the way he put it. It's like, I got to go out at night. I got to go to the clubs. I got to go where people are because I got to meet the one. Well, I'll tell you this much. When you spend your whole life looking for the one, it's not good when you're still looking for the one. Like, I had a boss when I worked at the university. He was 40 years old. He was a staunch believer in the cult of the LDS. And don't get me wrong, I love the LDS people. But he was 40 years old and no woman would give him the time of day. Was he unattractive? Yes. Did he have a crappy personality? Yes. Did he have money? No. Again, a very, very low suitability kind of guy. And so he wanted to get married so badly. How embarrassing to be doing this in public. Great. Have you accepted Jesus, team? I care about your salvation. I care about my rear end. Roll ducks. We don't get the fancy kind of ducks in this part of town, that's for sure. God, that building right there has been in the making since I was 5 or 6 years old. It's not like I can do this at home, people. I got to go out where the people are. I got to see the prole men. I've got to visit the Amazon facility. We got to look at the lake. Let's see. Glad you're back, Steam. Thanks, Sammy77. I think the prole ducks are better than we do. Yeah, they can get it on anytime they want. Prole nature be like. I mean, the ducks don't worry about paying high rent prices or how they're constantly in fear of losing their employment. It's kind of where we're at in our society is everyone is afraid of something. We're afraid of women. We're afraid of men. We're afraid of, hell, I'm even afraid of the monster that lives in the closet that I don't really own. I was actually looking at my closet this morning, and I'm like, oh my God, there's a Halo game in my closet. Jesus, I haven't played Halo in, good Lord, at least 10 years. But it's sitting there in my closet. All right. Good prole nature. As you can see, fishing is no longer relevant in our society. You know what that's a good analogy for? There's no fishermen here, right? There's no fish. There's no men seeking creatures for entertainment. This is what it looks like for men looking for women. Used to be every man had his rod hanging out here, right? Every 10 yards, you had a man with his rod hanging out. Well, no rods here, right? It looks like a lightning strike. So, men stop hanging out their rods. Most men have given up on the idea of ever making it to a point in their lives where they're going to be comfortable. In fact, I saw several video titles this morning that said, the title was, I'm 65, I have no savings, and I'm going to die working. Now, how's that for the feel-good novel of the year? I'm going to die at my job because I can't afford to retire. Looks like someone's is about to dip. God, I've seen a guy wipe out so bad on a bike before. Oh my God, it's painful to remember it. So, if you guys know, I was really big into mountain biking for many years. And of course, we would always bring people who weren't the best bike riders, and they would see people doing things that the senior bike riders were doing. And so they'd want to get into it too. And there was this one guy, he was like right here, right? We were all jumping into this like pit like this, right? Well, the guy was still fairly new to biking. And so he didn't know that you're supposed to lean back into the bike. So instead of leaning back, he leaned forward. So his front tire went straight down, and you just saw him catapulted through the air, like 10 feet into the air and into the bottom of the hole, like which would have been right down there where those reeds are. So he landed in there. And it was so embarrassing that even though it didn't happen to me, I still carry around the trauma of seeing that poor guy wanting to participate with all the rest of the people in the group. There must have been at least 10 to 15 people. Everyone that worked in the bike shop with me, you guys didn't know that I worked in a bike shop for years. And I got to see the look of not only did he crash hard, he was hurt bad too. Like he didn't get up right away. It's not like the I just got a vitamin C injection in my arm because I got too close to that school teacher that looked like she was under the weather. Hey, so we got some guys holding their rods in the water here, man. We got some fishermans. We got one over there, one over here, one over there. We got people fishing. Do we have people catching fish? I fished this lake for 20 years. I'll tell you, this is one of the hardest places to fish because of the way this place is structured. Like when you fish this place, you have to be prepared. I fished this lake for 20, 30 days in a row and not caught anything. It's just part of fishing in these places is that they are notoriously difficult to be successful. And the biggest bass that I ever caught was actually right over there on this corner. And it was on a live water dog. And it must have gone 15 pounds. He was huge. But of course, this is a catch and release lake, so you had to put him back. I don't even know where you would buy water dogs in today's world. The last couple of times I bought night crawlers at Walmart, they weren't in very good condition, I'll tell you that much. Can I return these night crawlers after I went fishing? Does that lake even have fish? Not like it used to. I don't know what it is with the urban lakes. Like, I've seen a few on YouTube where people go and they catch a lot of fish. There's this one guy, I think his name is the Fisherman Magician. The guy likes to go out and he fishes certain lakes. He fishes canals and does way better than fishing here. So this, like I said, I've spent hundreds, if not 1,000 hours fishing at this lake and had very minimal success. And there's one thing that I learned, when you're little and you have to spend hours out here, because obviously this was one of the things that I did when I didn't have video games, I fished. So now you can actually do a fishing. There's probably a half dozen fishing simulators out there, and they're quite fun to play. I remember playing them a long time ago. There was a lot more action than this. I mean, here, if you get one bite all day, you could consider that to be a success. And when I was little, 10 or 12, I bought a rubber raft at an outdoor store, and I was out here cruising across these reeds. It was 110 degrees outside, and my dumb self thought it would be a good idea, and I spent all day, and I think I caught one fish, and I didn't bring any water. Luckily, there is a fountain, water fountain, not anywhere around here, but at the end of the street. We'll look at it when we get there. Is he? Let's see. MS does leave his hometown. That's why he's broke. But I'm scared, guys. I'm going to Vietnam, and I need to take 4 vaccines, and which will be $600. So he told me to go abroad for cheap. I don't know. Oh, here are the food trucks from last time. Unfortunately, I left my wallet in the car like I did last time. I was also going to bring my drone to fly it over the lake today, but I forgot to charge the batteries. For some reason, the drone you have to charge the batteries on the drone the night before, because they will start draining. Like, I charged them a couple weeks ago for the drone, and I checked the batteries this morning and they were not good. So that's a funny name. Check it out. Blue Line Hot Dogs. He may be, let's see, he sure sounds like it sometimes, but sometimes he sounds like he's pulling everything he says out of his rear. Well, there are always other YouTube channels. Like, I watched some YouTube channels last night that I didn't even know could make such terrible content. So, but it is what it is. I mean, everyone makes the content that they can afford. The guy that I was talking about who said that society really is not built for single men, he starts out his video by saying, "Hey guys, I can't see out of one of my eyes, which means I can't read from a screen or present the video in any way that's not very amateurish, and I can't edit the video." Talk about a guy who's already letting you know this is the best I can do. He actually said that. This is the best content that I can do. It's like my feet content, right? It's like, sorry guys, this is my feet content. This is the best I can do. I'm walking around the park with my feet because I can't make better content. But I spend a lot of hours. I spent 4 hours making content yesterday, which is kind of I think it is a record for the most time I've ever spent making content before. So, but hey, you know, as long as I can keep those views above 15,000 a day, I mean, that's a living. 15,000 to 50,000 views a day. Ideally, I'd like to get to 50,000 views a day. Oh my gosh, there's another guy with his rod in the water. Well, I guess this is the lake. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fishermen on this lake. Yeah, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it soon. Exactly. Dang good work. The roaches look real. Laugh out loud. I'll just go on my TikTok and check out the struggle of the roaches compared to the struggle of the pearl. It's actually a hilarious video. One of my first that I made for the channel on TikTok. And of course, those roach traps filled up so fast that actually I'm gonna go look for more roach traps today because they're really funny to see when the female roaches get caught on the trap, that once they figure out that they can't get off the trap, instead of just dying peacefully, the roaches spray out as many as 50 baby roaches all over the place. So go check out that TikTok. It's gross. It's MillennialSteam on TikTok. Let's see. Terror Billy. Ooh. Oh my gosh, there's another fisherman right there. This is the most fishermen I've seen out here in a really long time. Oh, that guy needs one of those rod carriers that I got. I think it's called I saw a commercial for it on YouTube actually. It's like a triple rod holder. And I think it's called the Surf Runner or something like that. Some funky name. And it allows you, it looks like PVC pipe. 3 PVC pipes with a handle on it, and it allows you to carry 3 rods simultaneously. Like I have 2 spinning rods and a bait casting rod. Great for, I think the last time I brought it, I had it here. But as you can see, there's no fish activity whatsoever on the top. Those people were using live bait. I recommend using live minnows or anything wiggling around. Worms don't particularly work well here. When I was a kid, I used to be able to stand on that waterfall over there, and I could catch fish all day long on worms. All day long. Just throw it in, boom, fish, fish, fish. Look at this. There's 10 people here fishing, and I haven't seen a person even look like they've had a rod set yet. Where are you right now? I am at the park. So I am at, what do you call that? I'm at the park. I forget what the damn place is called. It's the one with all the red buildings around it. Let's see. I want to go fishing for trout so bad. Trout is my favorite fish to fish for, and the lake across the street from my house currently has trout in it. But these fish are incredibly difficult to catch. Like I was there every day last week, right? And as many hours, I filmed from that park for over 5 hours last week, more probably closer to 8 to 10, right? I didn't see a single person catch a trout. And in all the times that I've been there, I haven't seen the trout truck show up as of yet. So I am just bored. I like these trees though. Oh, it's in Tempe? Yeah, it's in Tempe. It's at Warner. I think it's Warner and the 101. I think it's over there. I don't know if they moved into that building yet. This area right here has been empty for 30 years. Easily. Yeah, 30 years this lot's been empty. And normally they don't have it. They had a closed fence over here the last time while they were working on this building. So it looks like a medical building or some sort of research building, but I don't see any furniture inside there. So I know it opened. They've been working on this building for like 5 years. I don't know what they do in these buildings though. I know they have signs that tell you not to go near them. Like those red signs tell you, don't go near this building. Or I think that one does too. So, started to get pooped. Man, getting that shot in my arm before I came over here was not the best idea, but they did give me 2 free bottles of water. Yeah, this is a sign here that I've never understood. I've seen this sign since I was little. So let's look at this sign. Employees only beyond this point, no soliciting. So they must do something fairly important in there. I wonder why that looks like someone went through the brush right there. Yeah. When I was like 12 years old, this is how long it's been since this place has been a good place to fish. So, of course, all of this wasn't here back then. They actually maintained this park a lot better back then. And so I would stand right there on that rock right there. And before, all that area had very, very lush green grass that grew right here, right? Because I remember this is one of my earliest childhood memories. I was sitting right there next to that tree with my mom, and I was catfishing probably in the early spring. And so I had 2 bait casters in the water, and they were baited with Strike King catfish links, right? Which was these little red chunks. And so my mom was sitting right there, and I told her I wanted to go get a drink from the drinking fountain, which I told you guys I would show you. So I was going to go get a drink from the drinking fountain, which should still be here, or else I'm going to have to go in my car to get water. Because I took 2 bottles of water today. I've never taken 2 bottles of water. Oh my gosh. The drinking fountain, they took it out. The drinking fountain used to be right here. I remember that's why I left my mom with the catfishing poles. And then I came back, oh my gosh. Check it out, folks. I just found a fishing rod. I don't know where the front part of it is. I think I saw it in the trash over there. Man. Talk about giving up on fishing, man. The bait feels like, oh my gosh, they never took the zip tie off of it. So it looks like they just bought this at Walmart, went fishing, didn't catch anything, and then straight up put it in the trash. Put the fishing rod in the bag, little bro. Well, right here is actually the outline of where the drinking fountain used to be. I guess someone feels like people don't need water anymore. Oh, I can't believe that. They're definitely resilient. Reminds me of a vid watch where the roaches got so bad they condemned the building. Apparently there's a point at no return with them. MS, your employer head into bankruptcy? I have no idea. Like I mentioned yesterday, I was watching the Epic Economist last night. He showed the 15 companies that are going out of business. I would say that when they remove the management overnight and they start deleting your coworkers in rapid fire, I don't think the place is going to be around for very long. And every person that I've talked to over the past 3 years has said the exact same thing. I doubt this place will be here in 6 months. Well, at least they put new rock in. This is new. And I know it's new because over there, they still have the piles of rock that they haven't spread out. So normally I park my car right here. I was planning on sitting down somewhere over at the first lake, but unfortunately, I'm getting run over. Oh my gosh. In 2008, as you guys can see, this is a bus stop, bus stop right here. In 2008, I had to be here at 5 o'clock in the morning to catch a bus to work every day until I got laid off. Every day I had to be right here at 5 o'clock in the morning. And if I wasn't there exactly at 5 o'clock in the morning, guess what happened? I wasn't going to get to work in any conceivable way. At that point, I usually have to call someone to give me a ride to work because my work was, I had to take a long ride just to get here from where I lived down the street in Chandler. But that was a tough time in my life, man. Really challenging. Let's see. Seems to me people don't go outside in the desert. They go outside in the desert during the wintertime, but this is a record low, even for this place. Like there's this lake, this is the third lake in the chain, right? As you guys saw, the first chain in the lake had 0 fishermen. I don't know why there were so many people fishing in the second one. I would say that my 2 best fishing spots on these lakes are just right below where I parked my car, which is an area that looks just like this with a concrete pull out for sitting down. And I was sitting right next to one of those underwater things that feeds water into this. So there's these, I'll show you guys on the other side what I mean, because it's actually where I'm going right now. Typically there's a woman sleeping here. I've filmed her many times sleeping right here. That's not a lake, that's a pond. In Arizona, this is down here, this is called a lake. I mean, Kiwanis Park is, I guess, considered a pond too, right? It's a lake that's similar in size to this. This is exactly 1 mile around too. I hope, has anyone checked out that channel, Far From Eden, yet? Figure out what's wrong with that woman that runs that channel? Because I'm not sure if she's all right. Like the last 2 videos that YouTube has shared with me, I question whether or not the people are right. Hell, I question whether or not the person that runs this channel is right. It's a small lake. The area still looks nice though. Perfect for jog or something. This is where I wanted to learn how to roller skate. Whoa, my goodness. That dog just growled at me. He's like, senses the evil. You guys hear that? He's like, roar. I was like, okay. Person of color in the area. Let's see. It's a man-made wannabe lake. Thanks, Donald Trump. What the F is it? There still looks, let's see. Yeah, would expect someone with a degree in interpersonal interpretive dancing to know that. It's a man-made Aaron from, yeah, let's see. I'm taking a jog. Oh, let's see. I'm taking a jog part back them, laugh out loud. I don't know what the dogs only growl when they know you're poor. Well, thank you, Magco. If it's more than 10 acres, it's a lake, less a pond. I mean, altogether, I guess they would be more than 10 acres. I mean, it's a mile around. Oh, look, there's someone sitting in the grass with their little pearl car. I've always considered that car to be a sign of extreme poverty. Like, every girl that I know that drives that car is dirt poor. All right, so we're coming up. So as I mentioned, I'll tell you guys. So the best combination for catching fish in this lake that's worked for me since I was a little kid. And there's always a ton of minnows right here because this is where they can hide from bigger fish. No, there's none today. I guess the water's too cold. Normally there's huge gatherings of little fish right in here. So, all right. So right across from here, over there by that tree, and I'll take you guys there right now. These are the best places in the lake to catch fish. This is a place where I caught 30 fish in one afternoon. And it wasn't like it was slow. It was just like, it's probably a 100-degree day. And there's drop-offs right here. There's a drop-off right there from the underwater spillway. So, for some reason, I really am enjoying this shot. It feels like I have to walk very awkwardly because of the shot, but it feels like a good shot. I wonder what kind of plant this is. That is really, the geese ever chatty at least. Man, the geese can be very aggressive. MS, what signs a company is heading for bankruptcy? Once it gets rid of its chief officers, this corporation I currently work at has lost 4 chief officers in the last year. 4 executives in the last year. Executives don't typically quit or get fired. It is a very, very bad sign when you lose 4 executive officers, including the top official for the company. And it was like that. It was just overnight. Boom. And it wasn't like they were honest about it either. They're like, oh, so-and-so retired. They're going to take a position as a consultant. That's how it happened. And then suddenly the rapid fire terminations came. People that were big in the company were gone overnight. You know, people that should be getting a progressive action program for, this is what they do to people who, it's a large corporation, right? So they don't just point at you and fire you. So they have to show progressive discipline. It's the reason why I can't get rid of my Gen Zs after they start, right? You have to show 4 write-ups and progressive discipline, because you're supposed to, they would rather reform you rather than go through the expense of retraining someone else to do your job, because often at companies, there's only one person that does your job. Like out of the entire corporation, I'm the only person that does my job. I'm the only person that knows how to do my job. And with a high level of termination in my area, again, 5 senior managers in 3 years, you're not keeping people. You're not keeping any good people. And so, at least for me, that's been the sign that it's in trouble. And I watch a lot of, again, I apologize for this, the epic economists. Corporations aren't doing well out there. People have not less money, but less buying power. So let's say you were making $80,000 a few years ago. In today, if you haven't gotten a raise since you started making $80,000 a few years ago, your buying power is about half. When you can't buy as much, and this goes across the board, across all corporations, you're going to lose people. You're going to lose. Look at a mall. Walk through a mall. If they let me film in the mall without chasing me out, anytime I bring my big camera, I've got a security guard following me around. He's waiting for me to start doing upskirt videos or something. And you're like, dude, I'm here to film the closing of all of these stores. When you have churches, you have stores that are becoming apartments inside of malls, you have tennis courts inside of malls. Malls have been in trouble for a long, long time. I remember the Arizona Mills Mall was threatened to be closed as soon as the pandemic started. You walk around in the food court and there's 3 or 4 businesses open in the food court. And you're like, well, the economy's not doing hot. And regardless of the reality of things, the government doesn't want to admit that the economy is toast. We just have to see all the empty businesses around. Look at this. Look how many empty businesses there are around here. Completely empty. I don't even know. There's no cars over there. I don't know if this building has been empty a long time, but definitely there isn't as much business that used to be here from a while back ago. And it's every shopping center looks like this. I mean, there is now an Asian massage parlor across the street from my apartment. And on top of that, it's next to a pawn shop. That's closed down to a Filiberto style Mexican restaurant that's right across the parking lot from it. Things are really, really terrible out there. Jump in the lake. Oh, really? That seems like a great idea in 60-degree weather. I told a friend that if those go 400K to 800K in 4 years, true inflation is over 20%. Everything's fine, Stan. All the malls in my region are on life support. I agree. The Chandler Mall is doing great. And from what I've heard, the Scottsdale Mall is doing great. But the Fiesta Mall, Metro Center, Tri-City Mall, all the rest of the malls, they're looking just as bad as all the videos that I see YouTubers walking around in malls filming stores. And you're like, how can you keep your doors open while you're $40 million in debt? And the epic economist goes over how deeply in debt Party City was, Big Lots. The one that I was telling the school teacher about this morning is Rubio's is going out of business too. And Rubio's deserves to go out of business with their terrible food quality. And Rubio's used to be a pristine restaurant. It was one of my favorite places to eat was Rubio's. And then suddenly things got worse and worse and worse at Rubio's. And you're just like, ugh, it's not worth paying $18 for this garbage. I can just eat dog food at home and it tastes better. MS, why don't you just find a better job? Yes, my physical therapist had to move 3,000 miles to find a better job. Is Tony Roma still around? I haven't heard of that place in a very long time. I don't think so. Zoltube. It seems like the only place is holding on. I mean, I can't think of, like, every time I walk by the Burger King, there's no one there. Jack in the Box was busy on Christmas Day because, as you guys saw, there was nowhere else to eat. And the overall quality of the food at Jack in the Box, Jesus Christ. I used to eat a lot of Jack in the Box when I was in college, right? Like, it was my go-to meal for years. Jumbo Jack, 2 tacos. I was full. I was satisfied. I can't eat that crap anymore. It is straight up hot garbage. Let's see. Just don't be poor. I'm trying. I'm working on it. Why do you think I'm doing this? You think I'm doing this for my own health? Same happened to one lived in 4 different states in the last 6 years. Laugh out loud. The jobs are where they are. Again, like I've told you guys 100 times on this channel, when my physical therapist, her husband had a job in sales, solid performance for 10 years. He came in one day and they told him, you don't work here anymore. Just like that. They didn't give him a chance to get, hey, you know, we're going to start doing layoffs in 6 months. It's you come into work and you already don't work there. And you're like, okay, well, what happened? I mean, and you got these coffee badgers, right? Come in, swipe their badge, pretend to work at their office. And then you look around and they're suddenly not gone, but they're still green on the company app. So most people don't do any work after a certain time in the day. I would see that out of all the pros that I've met in my life, most don't do any work. Once they get a certain amount of work done, they're done. So they have a tendency to only want to work a certain amount of time. Once they get bored at work, which is what happens to everyone, right? If you get bored at work, work is boring. I mean, and my boss has told me this 100 times. I realize your job is extremely boring. You know, when your boss has to tell that to your face, it's like, not just once or twice, but he repeatedly tells you, it's like, this work is boring. That's why we can't find anyone to work here. This work is boring. It's meaningless. It's repetitive. It is a job that's not designed for long-term retention, right? They know this. They know that jobs like mine are going to have a very, very high level of turnover. It's still an important job, but you know what makes a job really important? Is paying people real money. That's how you know that a job is important. If I have to worry about paying my rent while I'm doing a job, it means that job doesn't respect me. Sandals was a very, very poor choice for this gravel road. Oh Lord, I can feel every rock on here. So I was actually thinking about that last night. It's like, when a job isn't able to provide sufficient resources for you not to be thinking about getting a second job. And it's actually something I heard this morning. You know, it was a YouTuber I was watching and he's like, I'm not getting a second job. And I'm like, well, I hate to tell you this, but your $20 an hour job isn't going to provide you with housing, food, and transportation simultaneously. Each one of those jobs requires its own $15 an hour, 40-hour a week job in order to do that, right? We know this. Yeah, this is much better to walk on. I didn't even know this was here. I don't think this was here the last time I was here. But this has been a dirt lot for so long. They let all this stuff get overgrown. I don't know whose responsibility it is for keeping this stuff down, but This is neat. Again, if I were walking around right now at South Mountain hiking, the distance between the hikers on the Mormon Loop is between here and here. You can literally smell the person's butt. You're so close to the next hiker. MS, why are STEM grads having a hard time finding work? Because they've outsourced any sort of work in this country that made actual money. They've outsourced to Mexico or India. That's what it comes down to, this country. This country only wants slaves. So when you look on Indeed, if you find a job that pays more than $15 to $20 an hour, it's rare. And most companies like Google will admit, we don't want to pay high salaries in America. We want generic workers in these office buildings, right? That's what they want in these buildings. They want generic workers in these buildings, and they want to be spending as little as humanly possible on anyone that they're not paying minimum wage. You know, as much as I want to hate on this place, look at the size of this building, right? Look at the size. There's an entire gigantic parking structure for cars, right? Look how many loops they have for bikes. There's literally enough room for 3 bikes in a building this high. And then they've got a car garage that can probably support 500 cars, which is 3 levels high and 300 yards long. What do you guys think they're prioritizing? People riding their bikes to work or them driving their effing cars to work every day? Damn. The American dream. You mean the American nightmare. There's no American dream anymore, bucko. That died a long time ago. Every person I know is struggling financially right now. Maybe not to the point where they're at a food bank, but they're definitely not going on vacation or planning for retirement. Their retirement is on the job, passing away. Oh, I was right. There is nothing in this building. I can see all the way to the other side. So you guys can see. You can see all the way to the other side. And this building has been standing for years. You know why? It's not necessary. These office buildings aren't necessary. Look how many of these places are empty. Completely empty. The only place that's open is Amazon that has a lot of people at it. The place where I parked my car over here, completely empty. Are those bridges? What is it? They look like bridges. I've never seen bridges over here. They definitely have the look of a bridge. We're gonna have to go check that out because I haven't seen that. Oh, I see someone walking through it. Well, I just surpassed an hour of footage, but I definitely have to go check out these bridges. These are a new addition. Look how new everything is. Like, how do you build a building this big and let it sit for 5 years unused? And again, a lot of these buildings have been here since I was in elementary school, and they've just been sitting here getting old. I mean, they even took away the drinking fountains. Man, that's gangster. Ripping out the drinking fountains. Oh, what's in here? Looks like this is a little overflow pond. Like I said, this has been a empty dirt lot for a very long time. So it looks like they put these bridges in anticipation of making some sort of extension. I'm wondering, what are you doing out there? Exploring. Let's see. R.I.P. Georgia C. Hey, you still walking? All girls the same. Yeah, there's no girls here. MS, how will the U.S. innovate? All the work is being outsourced. You're seeing what the world looks like. Business failure everywhere. Outside of my apartment complex, every business outside the gate of my apartment complex, all the way to the light's been closed for years. And they're not reopening either. So it looks like they're planning on building extensions to this, because these are definitely bridges that are not in use. And you guys can tell there's not a whole lot of park benches here. No, those are definitely bridges. Bridges to nowhere. This is the bridge. This is the bridge to your career right here. It starts nowhere with a pile of rocks, and it ends nowhere. This is how your life goes. A perfect analogy. Here, get on the bridge.
That was the funniest thing I've heard all day.
Hey, I'm a comedian. What can I say, man? Hey, thank you. Okay. He's like, I can't say my name on screen. He's like, you look familiar. I'm like, uh-oh. Did you see me on a wanted poster? Hey, there are fans everywhere. Oh my God. So that's the funniest thing I've heard all day. That's one of the best compliments I've ever gotten, rather than, why are you filming? Why are you filming me in yoga pants? I'm like, it's a park. I didn't tell you to wear that to the park. You decided that you were going to wear that to the park. I just happen to be here with the camera because I'm a YouTuber, and that's what I do. That's the problem. You know, I've been fishing before, and I'll be live streaming while I'm fishing, and someone will come up and be like, hey man, what's your channel? And I'm like, sorry man, I'm not that kind of channel. I don't want to be responsible for you and the rope coming together, realizing this channel, and that your life is going nowhere. It's a sad state of affairs to admit that that's the best you're going to do right there. Well, they actually got rid of the drinking fountain that used to be over there too. There used to be one right next to that mailbox. But again, if you're thirsty, people, and you happen to be out at this lake, there's your drinking water. There's your drinking water, folks. All right, it looks like I finally back to my car. Where am I going after this? The school teacher told me that Aldi's has pretty good deals on food. I've been there one time, and I didn't like it. It felt very... Oh, what I was going to show you guys over there on that part of the lake is this. So this is another area that I've caught a lot of large fish on. So right here in this area, during the warmer parts of the years, the shad will all get balled up right here, right? So you can bring a small net, throw it out, get a bunch of shad, and you will catch fish with shad in this lake, as many as you want, because those bass that won't hit lures, they love eating shad. Oh, look, there's a cardinal. Look, do you guys see it? There's a red bird right there on the sign. Very, very rare in Arizona to see a red bird. All our birds are brown. Oh, look at him. He's going up and down. He is definitely a cardinal. You guys saw it here first. Look at that. Look, he wants to be on camera. Hello, cardinal. I I've seen in my entire life in Arizona, I've probably seen maybe 5 or 6 of those birds in my entire life. All right, so let me read the chat. All right, so like I said, I'm going to Aldi's. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Hey, Mets, how much longer will college last since degrees have become obsolete? The problem with getting rid of businesses that are obsolete is that they don't want to die. And I'm going to use Party City as an example. Party City built up so much debt before it finally went under. Big Lots, the same way. All the big stores that you can imagine that don't exist in the mall, they try to survive for as long as they can. Universities and colleges across America are big business, racking up that student loan debt for an imaginary life, right? Because without an education, you're sold the simple fact that you will never have home ownership. No home ownership means no wife. No wife means living like me. No purpose, no career, no focus on anything beyond daily survival. But the colleges want to believe, they want to make you believe that they're still relevant. And once we see a big chain like Taco Bell go into the dumpster, once Taco Bell fails as a corporation because of their crappy quality, their crappy jobs, their crappy menu, everything about Taco Bell sucks, right? Well, that's what's wrong with the universities. They're overpriced. They're providing education that is the same from hundreds of years ago, right? They're still teaching the same basic education. And unfortunately, corporations don't want that education. I've been looking for a real job now for years and years and years. And I've walked into job interviews and had corporations tell me you have the wrong kind of education. And I'm like, I went to university. I spent most of my life there. I worked there. And you're going to tell me that I have the wrong education? It would be the equivalent to selling you a car, $100,000 car, right? You walk onto the parking lot, you sell me a car, and then I want to drive it to work the next day. But guess what? You didn't give me the keys. So now I can look at my fancy car all I want, but I can't drive it anywhere. It's just going to sit there asking for monthly payments month after month. And eventually it's going to become obsolete. And no one ever gave me the keys. What am I supposed to do? It's sitting there. It looks nice. You know, you had to work your way to get it, but you can't drive it. That's what the education system is in America. You can't drive it. And if you can't drive something, why does it exist? And with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I have been wandering around in the park now for an hour and 15 minutes, looking deranged, looking unhinged. Thank God there aren't that many people here. And I will catch you in this afternoon's video. Oh my gosh, it's 1:06. I got to be at the gym in less than an hour.